Most e-commerce store owners are scaling their Google Ads campaigns the wrong way. So in this video, I'm going to show you a completely new way to destroy your competitors and get back your market share and more. Now, there's various different things the Google Ads algorithm actually looks for in a good brand versus a bad brand. The first thing is a good customer experience. At the end of the day, Google only cares about giving its market share to those brands which gives Google's users a good solid experience. Because if these people that are basically the bread and butter of Google itself, if they're not experiencing good things, then obviously they will not be back to purchase anything from Google. The second thing is relevant products / ads around things people are actually searching for. So if a person goes on Google and they type in 3D printer or 3D printer for sale or buy 3D printer, obviously this kind of person is looking to purchase a 3D printer. If you end up showing up here selling maybe oranges or apples, obviously there's no kind of relevancy between what the person is actively searching for versus what you are trying to show up for. Over time, you start to get placed more and more and more in the back until eventually you just fall off the spectrum of these shopping ads. The third and most important thing is this is causing Google's users to be repeat customers. It's going back to the first thing I mentioned, which was a good customer experience. What you want to start focusing on is making the experience, making your overall ad be so beautiful, so well laid out that these users actively come back on the platform again and again, not only to buy other things, but also to look for products in the same niche which you just sold within. And when Google notices that this user is repeatedly buying similar things within your niche, obviously it's going to think that you were the main reason why they had such a good experience, and as a result, now they want to just come back over and over again. This brings us directly into the technique of what I'm using personally to destroy and crush all of my competitors. And destroying your competitors, let me get this straight, starts with understanding what your competitors are not doing. And we're gonna be using this 3D printer example as an example here for this situation. So if we're selling within this niche, and it doesn't matter what niche you sell in, you need to start by, first of all, starting with shopping ads, because in most cases, shopping ads would be 99% of your revenue. You want to start by looking at, first of all, what kind of product images are getting shown within your niche. When I'm doing this, what I'm trying to understand is, what is my competitor actually doing? Are they having all of these white background images? Are they putting the product right smack in the center, or are they putting the product kind of slanted towards the side? Maybe they have some kind of other thing laid out right next to the product itself. But my strategy starts off with the product image. Then it moves on to the product titles. Obviously, it's pretty straightforward. What kind of SEO keywords are they using within the product titles? Their titles kind of exceed certain character limits, or are their product titles very short and very bland? Do they have any type of copywriting in place, or is it just SEO keyword after SEO keyword separated by commas? These are all things which, when it's time for your product title, you're going to improve on. But before you can do that, you need to understand what majority of your competitors are doing. Not one competitor, not two competitors, but majority. For this example, I see a lot of these product images, they're just plain white background images. A lot of these are also with products slanted to one side or the other, compared to those product images where it's just right smack in the middle, showcased directly towards the camera. For the product titles, the ones in the front are much shorter than the ones in the back, which is very surprising to me, because it looks like the product titles that are very concise and straightforward are the ones winning here. But this is something I'm taking into account, because this is going to lead me to the third thing I'm looking at, which is the product pricing. Obviously, if you have certain margins to work with, you cannot really change your product pricing, but I am looking to see if I can actually even increase my product price further. Some of these products are getting sold for $350, some of them getting sold for $2,000. So do I really need to sell my product at maybe $500 or $700 when I can easily bump up the price by bumping up my perceived value of the product and maybe sell it for $1,000, get more profit, and as a result, be able to spend more? These are all things I'm analyzing, but the final thing I'm looking at is the Google Merchant Center programs, are basically all of these competitors competitors with running with special promo codes, or all of them basically having reviews? What are they doing? And of course, the final thing, a landing page experience. So you can do this one by one, going through each of your main competitors. I'm just looking at their overall landing page, getting an understanding of if they're really that overall professional, or if they're lacking something within their landing page, or if there's just too much going on, or if it's like a Chinese brand that's trying to make a killing with Google Shopping. These things directly lead me to step number 2, which is reverse engineering. So instead of doing what they are doing now, we start doing the opposite of what everybody is doing. So here, as I mentioned, I saw first of all almost 99% white background images. If I want to be opposite here, I'm gonna come in with a product image that is in a real lifestyle background. And to give you guys a perfect example of this, maybe something like this, where it's in a real lifestyle background, the product is clearly visible, it's very high quality, maybe have some things on the side as well to show what is the after effect of using this product, things like that. Basically trying to find a way to be different and stand out from competitors. Moving on now to the product titles. Majority of these brands in the front have shorter titles. What we will do is we'll do a mixture of shorter titles and longer titles, because the longer ones are in the back. We'll have something that's maybe in the middle, maybe something like this with this much level of detail, or maybe something like this. Maybe for my 3D printer title, I might name it something like #1 best selling 3D printer. And you can do more things. You can add more things in here, such as luxury 3D printer or portable 3D printer. What we're doing with these kinds of filler keywords is we're trying to increase the perceived value, so that come to step number 3, which is the product pricing. We can now bump up the price instead of trying to be the lowest or even be the average. That kind of leads us to the Google Merchant Center programs. A lot of these have promo codes at the moment, some kinds of offers. We obviously don't want to do that because a lot of them already have that. In fact, some of these have reviews. So if maybe more of these had reviews, I would have even said, do not bother doing reviews. Basically, that would lead us to the final step, which is the landing page. So here, the landing page is very cluttered. There's just too much stuff going on right here. Like for example, there's these little trust badges, which you barely can see. There's the upsells, which I don't think is a good idea. Their description is just a bunch of images with a bunch of text. Reverse engineering this means just doing the opposite of this. So not having all these trust badges, maybe having different style trust badges, things like that, which can help you be the opposite. After you have done with step number 2, which is reverse engineering, now we move on to step number 3, which is actually monitoring and scaling these things which you just changed. Obviously, after you have finished reverse engineering, you'll have to launch some campaigns. The way that you launch those campaigns, it's entirely up to you based on your niche, AOV, all of that stuff. I recommend watching some of my other videos for that. Once you have those campaigns running, once you have done this reverse engineering step, you let the campaigns run. You wait 14 to 21 days with this reverse engineered piece of ad for that given product, and you understand, how did it do? Did it get you sales or not? Was the CTR below what it used to be before? Or are there any changes at all? Or is there improvements in the overall metrics? You need to be doing this for every part of the puzzle, starting with the product image, moving on to the titles, pricing, descriptions, and finally the Google Merchant Center programs, until eventually multiple of your products are appearing here, and different products that too. But it's a series of repetitions here. Really at this step, you want to go back to step 1, then do that over again, then step 2, step 3. It's like this cycle over and over again. At this point, really this kind of strategy ends, because now it's about doing step 1, step 2, step 3, and going in between based on where you are within your overall strategy for defeating your competitors. Exactly what we are taking a lot of our e-commerce brands to completely destroy our competitors. Again, if you're doing $40,000 or more per month in revenue, you need just a little bit of extra help scaling your brand to the next level. Go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can potentially work together and make that happen.